A car rolled on Old Highway 91. A lawnmower racer is critically injured, and the two teams playing for the 4A State Football Championship have been decided.
You're watching St. George News at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Amy Bennett. Last Friday night, a speeding car veered off of the road on Old Highway 91 near the Shivwoods Reservation and rolled multiple times. Rescuers arrived at the scene and extricated two people in their 20s from the car. Both of the occupants sustained serious injuries, but none of the injuries were life-threatening. The driver was identified as Salvador Mejia Jr., who was arrested on charges of negligent driving after it appeared to be a speed and DUI-related crash. A driver who was participating in the Beaver Dam lawnmower races this past Saturday was critically injured during the race. Here's Jesse Bang with more on the story.
As the lawnmower racing season kicked off on Saturday in Beaver Dam, tragedy struck. Chief Jeff Hunt with the Beaver Dam Littlefield Fire and Rescue said a lawnmower driver lost control at a high rate of speed, clipping a van. The incident resulted in critical injuries. Mercy Air arrived on scene and performed life-saving measures to ensure the patient was stable enough to fly. The current condition of the driver is unknown.
Thanks, Jesse. Snow Canyon State Park hosted a Veterans Day tribute, and Stephanie DeGraw was there with the coverage.
The Veterans Day tribute at Snow Canyon State Park featured the Mountain View Montessori Children's Choir and the Gibson Sisters. Old Glory fluttered in the breeze high above around 200 people. Founders of Follow the Flag, Kyle and Carrie Fox, and Dennis Levitt with United We Pledge spoke of their gratitude for their freedom. The special guest speaker was retired Major General Jeff Burton, U.S. Army.
Thanks, Jesse. A rock formation in the Parowan Gap that is in the shape of a human head shows that southern Utah might be in for some colder weather. Here's Haven Scott with more on the story.
For the last 100 years, Iron County residents have been tuning into radios, television meteorologists, or lately their vehicle dashboard for weather information. For the ancient residents of Iron County, watching the sun and the overseer brought either messages of warning or warming. Nancy Dalton with the Parowan Heritage Foundation told St. George News she first heard the story of the rock outcropping shaped like a head in the 90s.
One of the ways that the overseer protects his people, and that is in November 6th, 7th, and 8th. I'm out and the sun comes across the sky, and as it comes across the sky, it hits his mouth, and then it slowly rolls to the back of his mouth. And then it sits there and sits. And he swallows it and it's gone. Which now tells the people that the summer sun has gone into its winter home, and if they haven't prepared for winter with enough food and warm shelter, they better head south quick because it's only going to get worse.
The Hurricane Farmers Market is planning to stay a bit longer than usual and adding a fun Christmas twist. Here's Jesse Bang with the story.
For the first time, the Hurricane Farmers Market has decided to extend the market 3 extra weeks and end the season with a Christmas celebration. The Christmas market will feature Santa and Mrs. Claus, a tea party, face painting, and much more. Local artisans, makers, and farmers will offer everything from Christmas gift ideas to delicious treats. The event will take place on November 18th.
Thanks, Jesse. And now over to Cannon to give us what happened this past week in sports.
Thanks, Amy. Crimson Cliffs beat Ridgeline 31-24 in the semifinal game up at Rice-Eccles Stadium. It was back and forth all game long, and on Ridgeline's last drive of the game, with a little over a minute left, Crimson Cliffs senior Parker Andrus deflected a pass that fell right into McKay Wright's hands for an interception, securing the victory for the Mustangs. The Mustangs are now headed to the state championship, where they will face Green Canyon this Friday. SU football had a slow start to the game against Stephen F. Austin, but in the second half, the Thunderbirds put up 35 points, beating the Lumberjacks 45-17. SU now has an even record of 5-5 on the year. Region 9 signing day took place last Wednesday, and Crimson Cliffs senior golfer Boston Bracken signed to play at Arizona State next year. Over 17 athletes signed to play at the next level on Wednesday, and there are still more expected to sign at a later date. Now back to you, Amy.
Thank you for watching St. George News at 5. I'm Amy Bennett with St. George News, your #1 source for local news.
This has been St. George News at 5.